quite a while ago, one of my first videos was some fun chords in open D. And I did that originally for my brother-in-law, and then I reshot it for everybody. And so someone recently said, hey, could you do one for open E? Well, basically it's the same, everything that applied to open D tuning would apply to open E tuning, it just would be an E instead of D. But I did think it was probably time for an update, and so this would apply to open D if you just imagine instead of playing in E, we're playing in D. But we're in E today, and the tuning for open E is E, B, E, G sharp, B, and E. So 3 of the 6 strings have been raised up. Normally when we tuned it to open D, we would tune down 4 of the 6 strings. So we still have the E's on the outside and a B for the 2nd string, but the 3rd string is tuned up to G sharp, and then the D string is tuned up to E, and the A string is tuned up to B. And it always makes me a little nervous. I always prefer open D because you're loosening strings and not tightening them, and they're less likely to break when you're loosening them than when you're tightening them. So basically what you have with open E is an open E chord. It's very, very simple. As I mentioned in the first video, I saw Dolly Parton on Johnny Carson a million years ago, and she showed up with a guitar and she had nails out to here, and I'm like, how is she going to do that? And she picked up the guitar and she just literally played open E, and she had it tuned down to C sharp, so she was actually way down, but it was E all open, and then if you bar at the 5th fret, you get the 4 chord, which is A, and then the 5 chord here, you get B. And so you can have these, it's real easy to play a major chord in open tuning. You can play any major chord. And the other nice thing about open E I like over open D is you're probably more likely to know the notes on the bottom string, maybe from doing power chords or whatever. But if you know that this is E and this is F, then this is an F chord, and this is a G chord, and if this is A, this is an A chord, and so on and so forth. So you've got all the chords here, all the major chords. There's B flat, there's F sharp, there's E again, F. You know, you can find that. And here's one of the really, really cool things about open E is that if you know all the notes on the low E string, you know 50% of the notes on the guitar right now, because you've got 3 E strings. So if this is F sharp, so is this, so is this. If this is G, so is this, and so is this. So if I want to play an E over G sharp, I can do that real easily, but I could also add a G sharp anywhere in those 3 strings very easily if I know where the G sharp is on the bottom string. Okay, so major chords are super easy. That's a pretty obvious given. How do you do minor chords? Okay, definitely much more difficult, okay? Because we need to take that whatever notes on the G string, on the 3rd string, we need to take it down a fret. So it's really, really hard because you don't have 6 fingers. You have a thumb and four fingers to get that. Like I can make F minor if I would never do that chord, but I can do it if I played 1, 1, 1, open, 1, 1, and that would create F, and I use the thumb to get that, okay? But if you wanted to say play A minor, you could play like this, okay? I'm just playing the top 4 strings, and then I could grab the 6th string with my thumb, and there's my A, mute the A string, or in this case it's a B string because remember we tuned up, but mute the 5th string, and then play 5, 4, 5, 5. Not an easy chord because you gotta kind of, it's not like, you know, certainly you can't play this chord with long fingernails. So you wouldn't see Dolly Parton play a minor 6 chord in her song in the key of E, okay? But the same thing, the great thing about this tuning is that whatever note this is, this shape, these are all minor keys, chords, sorry. So that would be G minor, this is a G. If this is a B, it's B minor. Here's C sharp, C sharp minor, D minor, E. So we could go 1, 6, 4, 5 very easily. That would be E, C sharp minor. I say easily, this chord is not easy, but these 3 of the 4 chords are very easy. The 4 chord, the A, and the B chord, 5. Okay, so So there's major minor chords in open E tuning. Okay, major, easy, minor, not so easy. You could also do power chords if you wanted to just grab the bottom. I'm going to grab it with these 3 fingers. You could grab it with these 3 fingers if you want, but I don't know. It just feels more comfortable to get it with these 3 fingers. So this would be E, F sharp, G, A, wherever you play this. And I'm not playing any open strings. Now, if I want to play open strings, then I'd be playing a power chord with a very E major tonality, because we have a G sharp here and a B, E. So I could do like an F sharp power chord and let those other strings ring out, and it's a beautiful chord, but it wouldn't work if I did G. Not quite what we want, but I could do A, kind of weird sounding, B, the C sharp works really well, the D kind of works, you know, you can just kind of mess around with that. That's a way to just kind of move the bottom note around, or the bottom half of your strings around, and get different sounds. Now, again, because we know that this is E, it's easy to do an alternative like bass line with an E tonality. So we got this E chord. So whatever that was, I don't know what that was. It was just kind of a weird bass line underneath this chord. I can do that now on the 4th string, which is tuned to E. Okay, or I can do it on the top string. So again, whatever I do on the bottom string or on the top string, I can do with all 3 of those. I could do the 4th string and the 1st string. Okay, or I could do the bottom string and the 4th string. I'm gonna have people call me, hey, what is that song you're playing? I'm like, I don't know, I'm just making it up as I go. But I really just kind of love some of these things that make the open E tuning makes really easy. There's things that are very difficult, like I said, like the minor chords, trying to reharmonize, do jazz chords, you know, some of the major 7s, things like that, could be very difficult. But weird things like that are very easy, and you really, by knowing the notes on the E string, you know 50% of the notes on the neck, which I think is really cool. Now, also, remember the tuning E, A, E, G sharp, B, E, we have 2 Bs. So we have 2 fifths. Okay, 5th. The 5th note in the scale of E. The scale of E is E, F sharp, G sharp, A, and B. B is the 5th. So we have 2 Bs. So anything we do to the B string, I'm being very major sounding there. I could be very more mixolydian, kind of a bluesy. By going to a D instead of a D sharp. And again, the nice thing about the B string is that if you know your fretboard, you don't have to relearn it for this tuning, at least as far as the B string is concerned. So I like, you know, if you're gonna. I'm just playing all the notes on the B string that are in the key of E major. Now I said E mixolydian, and I'm sure a lot of heads, you know, you were like, wait, what's E mixolydian? Okay, E mixolydian is a mode, just like E major is a mode. But E mixolydian is E major, but the 7th note is flatted. Okay, normally in E major you would have a D sharp. E mixolydian is a D natural. Okay, so that's also fun to play in the key of E when you're playing E, because these notes obviously are in the key of E, but they're also in the key of A. And so A has, instead of a D sharp in it, the key of A has a D natural. So listen to this. A, B, C sharp, the D, there's the D natural. Okay, I'll go to the major, D sharp this time. F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp. You can hear the resolution there. You know. Okay, you can hear that D sharp to E resolution, but the D natural gives it much more of a blues sound. Okay, so now back to the B string, because on the B string, we got that B, and then we got a C sharp, and we also have a B and a C sharp here, and here's D. So check this out, I'm gonna go B open, and then I'm gonna add the C sharps, and I'm gonna add the Ds, and listen to the tonality. That sounds great. Then you can put that G natural in there and bend it up a little bit, not quite all the way to G sharp. Okay, and we're gonna get to that in a second. Now if I went to D sharp, you would get more of a, which is also really cool. I can keep going. Now we're at E, so now we're at the start of the E major scale. Now if I did that in mixolydian, change anything up here. You hear the difference? So mixolydian is a great mode and scale for blues playing. I have other videos about that. I can maybe put a link in for you, so you can learn about mixolydian scales. Okay, so now again we're with an open E tuning here. Okay, open E, and the notes in it are E and G sharp and B. Okay, so the one chord, or the one of that chord is E, or the root. You could call the root, but we're going to call it the one for now. The third is G sharp, and the fifth is B. Now triads are made up of roots and thirds and fifths. You're skipping every other note. So in other words, here's a major scale. At least the first 5 notes of a major scale. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So a triad is made up of the root, the third, and the fifth. Just those 3. And that's what makes up this tuning. There's only those 3 notes in all of this tuning. E, which is the root, or the 1. B, which is the 5th. E is another 1. G sharp is the 3rd. B is the 5th, and E is the 1 again. Okay. Now why did I tell you all that? Well, because if we go up 1 note from each one of those root, 3rd, 5th positions, we get what's called a suspension. And you hear them all the time. You know what they are. But they're super kind of fun to play on open tuning. Okay? So, for example, the most common suspension would be the 4-3 suspension. So, in other words, the 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, the A note would be here on the 1st fret of the 3rd string. You hear that? And it's also really easy to do with the bar, so you could do B sus. You know what song that is? You might know what song that is. If you're my generation, you would know what song that is. I just accidentally played it. But basically, that would be a B sus to a B, A sus to an A. And sus is shorthand for sus4. Sorry about that. So A suspended 4th. I'm sorry, B suspended 4th to B, and then A suspended 4th to A. But shorthand, you could just say G sus or E sus. Everybody knows, you know, that's just this chord. Okay. Now another suspension we could do is a 2-1. Okay, the 2 is F sharp. So we have a bunch of F sharps here. Remember, this is E, this is E, this is E. Now the 2 sometimes sounds like it wants to go to the 3, so you could go up or down from the 2. Let's put it in the middle here. And again, it's real easy to add that second to any of the bars. do it on the bottom, it's going to get a little muddy if I do it, but if I did all three at the same time, it would sound like this. It's not really something I would do. However, if I might do on the D string and the fourth string and the first string. And then resolve it. I can do that. Let me get that in there. Okay, so that's kind of cool. There's another suspension. Okay, we've done the 4-3 and the 2-1 or 2-3. The 6-5 suspension. Okay, and that's really common in like old time rock and roll. You've heard it a million times there. Okay, and that would be taking the 5th up to, in this case, the B up to C sharp, up a whole step. Here's the scale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So up 2 frets or a whole step up from the B, the 5th, you have the C sharp. So I'm doing it on the 2nd string and I'm doing it on the 5th string. Either one would work. And the same thing would apply to the bar chords. Oops, sorry. So like if I do, yeah, that's cool. So that's the 4 with the sus6. Sorry, the 4 chord, the A chord. A6 to A, B6 to A, or B, and then E6. That's kind of cool, or I could do the 6 here and here. Now you can also do more than one suspension at a time. We could do 2 of them, or we could do 3 of them. So let's do the 4-1 or 4-3 suspension and the 6-5 suspension. So that'd be 1st fret and the 2nd fret. So 1st fret on the 3rd string and 2nd fret on the 5th. So it's going to be with the 2 suspensions on there. It's going to be 0, 2, 0, 1, 0, 0. Kind of like an E7 shape. Now this is not the tuning that Keith Richards uses. He generally uses open G, but you can kind of get that Keith Richards sound. Okay, I'm playing a G, I'm barring a G, and I'm adding the 4 and the 6 suspensions to get that kind of suspension, which is like unresolved to resolved. That's what suspensions are. They kind of they want to go somewhere. They don't want to sit there necessarily. Okay. Now on top of that, so I've got another 6 up there. That's really fun. But I could also add the 2nd. So if I add the 2nd, now if I just basically play an E-shaped chord on top of the E tuning, it ends up sounding like this. Now you're doing all the suspensions on the E chord. You've got the suspended 6 to 5, the 2 to 1, and the 4 to 3. And you can do that with the A chord to the B chord. So these are just some things you can do and have some fun with the open E tuning. I may do another video. I can take these up and show you all the stuff I did in the open D. But you can check out the open D tuning video, Fun Chords in open D, and there'll be tips there that you can totally apply 100% to the open E. I just thought it needed an update, and I decided, somebody asked me to do the open E, so that's why I did it. And I hope you're doing well. God bless you guys. I'll talk to you soon.